All right, welcome back. Today we're going to do a review and first use of the Rabaconda tire changer. I have not used it yet, so you guys are coming through this for the first time with me as it is. Go ahead and say like, subscribe, comment to the channel, stick around. We'll have more motorcycle content coming up as always. So thanks for being here. Let's get into it. So first thing we're gonna do is remove our valve stem. This kit does not come with a valve stem removal tool, and in the instructions that I read, it didn't look like it said anything about doing that, but that is something you need to do. So I've got my Motion Pro valve stem removal tool here. Gonna go ahead and pull our valve stem out. It's gonna be loud. Rabaconda does give you a good operator's manual. It's got easy setup instructions. I actually just used the picture for the setup. That's all you really need. And then they have full step-by-step instructions for dismounting and remounting a tire, to include a tutorial video that is in the instruction booklet. That's what we'll be using today. So now we got our valve stem removed. The wheel's all set up. It's centered on there with not much wiggle room, able to free spin. And our bead breaker arm is not going to come in contact with our rim. We can go ahead and break the bead. So I will say this is an old tire. It's been mounted on this rim for a while. It took a little longer than I thought it was gonna be. It doesn't look as easy as the ad video does, but still a lot easier than using the old tire irons that I have. So not bad. Now we just gotta flip her over and go ahead and break the bead on the other side. So we just got done breaking the bead on both sides of the tire. A little harder than I imagined it would have been. I had to kind of put my foot on the bottom of the tire. That helped out a lot with stabilizing the whole rig. But I will still say that it was easier than doing it with, being on your knees on the ground with your two tire irons and your bead breaker. Happy overall. A little harder than I imagined it was gonna be. But again, it is an older tire. It's been on that rim for a while, so that could play into it a little bit. So next up, we're gonna install our mounting demounting arm over our center spindle at the 12 o'clock position. This is the mounting demounting arm. We'll go ahead and install it on the tire changer. When you install this, you want this over the rim. They say you can use the bead breaker to kind of get the tire out of the way a little bit to make that install easier. And then we're gonna adjust it down so it's riding right on the rim. So it's gonna go all the way around. We'll tighten up our screw. I'll say this part of the system is actually pretty sweet because it's just magnets down there. So next step is to insert the wheel rotation blocker into the designated hole to keep the wheel from rotating, and then strap the wheel to the tire changer frame. So we're gonna take our wheel rotation blocker, put it in that hole right there so the wheel doesn't rotate much. And then we're gonna take our strap here, put it around this spoke, pass it under the base plate, and then bring it through and tighten it up. Cool, next up we're gonna apply some bead grease to the tire and the duck head. The instructions literally say or soap and water. So in the past I've always just used a little bit of Dawn dish soap and some water with the spray bottle. But today we're gonna try out this new bead grease that I got with the kit. We'll see how well that works. So I have little to no experience with bead grease. So we're gonna use a little bit, and if that's not working for us, we're gonna go right back to our soap and water. But for those of you that get the bead grease, go ahead and let me know how it works. So on the duck head underneath here, and on the tire. That should go all the way around. You don't need to apply a ton of it, you just need enough for it to be slippery. So I'm gonna apply it just to the duck head, and then I'm just gonna spray the rest with the soap and water and continue to use that. So next step, we're gonna get the tire up and over the duck head with the tire iron that is provided, and then we'll end up locking the tire iron in and rotating the duck head around. Just like that. So we're gonna take our handle, insert it here into the ratchet system. And we're gonna rotate the duck head around while keeping a hand on the tire iron. All right, we're gonna go ahead and apply a little more bead grease just to the duck head itself, right here on the front portion of the duck head, so it can carry that around. We're gonna take our tire iron, we're gonna get that other side of the tire up and over the duck head. This is always the tricky part. Just like that there. Lock our tire iron back in. We'll go ahead and grab our bead breaker bar once again. Insert that and start our rotation around. Keep in mind, the strap is still installed. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove that tire iron because it wants to. And just like that, we have our dismounted tire. I'm already super impressed. 100% worth the money. Go ahead and go buy one. I've been using tire irons on the ground, wrestling tires for up to an hour, hour and a half at a time sometimes, depending on what I'm working with, for the past 2 years, and this was immensely easier. I'm in the South, so you know, still a little sweaty. Still takes some work. It's not a machine, it's not electric powered. You still gotta put the elbow grease into it, but the process is much easier. You're standing up the whole time, and I didn't warm these tires up. Normally, I'm either leaving my tires out in the sun or I even sometimes throw my tire warmers on them for a bit just to get them that much easier to bend around. I didn't do that with these. They're old. They've been on this rim for a while, and that process was very simple. The instructions are pretty clear. It definitely helps that I already have some tire changing experience. There's a few little tips and tricks that you learn, or your own little ways that you learn when you're doing it yourself with just tire irons, that definitely transfer over to using this machine. We can do a full how-to video later on if you guys want. I can show you kind of both ways, but very impressed with this machine so far. We'll go ahead and get the tire mounted back on and see how that process is, but liking what I got. So now that we have that tire off, we're gonna go ahead and put it right back on. They want us to place our duck head at the 12 o'clock position and then mount the first bead of the tire over it and get it on with our hands as much as possible. So pretty similar to normal mounting with your tire irons. You're just gonna use your hands to get it on there as much as you can. So we'll go ahead and lube up our beads again and get the tire remounted. So now that we have that on as much as we can by hand, we're gonna go ahead and take our bead breaker handle, install it on the ratchet system, or the duck head, I guess as they call it, and then go ahead and rotate that around to get that bead on the rest of the way. And there you go. Okay, so now we gotta get a portion of the tire over the back of the duck head. So we're gonna probably pull the tire irons out to do that. Yeah. Actually, looks like we don't have to. So you want half the bead over the back, the other half over the front. So they do sell drop center tools. I do not have any. So we're gonna use our hands to push the tire as much as possible to the drop center. They want us to push on the back of the tire while we rotate this around. So we're just gonna try rotating it around first, see what that does, and then we'll move from there. So we're gonna have to apply pressure over here, keeping the tire on the rim as we rotate this side around. I'm gonna apply a little more lube so it'll rotate a little easier. And we'll continue going. All right, we're gonna pause and read the instructions. I don't like it. After some review, a drop center pushes your outer bead here into the center of the rim where the rim drops down, i.e. drop center. So I don't have those because I didn't order them with the kit. So I've gone around and pushed the bead as much as I can into that drop center portion, which gives your tire some more flexibility. So we're gonna go ahead and reattach the handle and continue our rotation. I'm gonna apply a little bit more lube just to keep the process nice and smooth. Attempt number 2, 3, 4, or 5. So there you have it. The bead is pretty much all the way on. Last step's gonna be using a tire iron to pull the bead over the duck head. So you can see our bead is on our duck head. We can get our tire iron in there and pull that off of the duck head and down onto the rim. So there you have it. You have a mounted tire. All that's left is to pull the duck head off, remove the ratcheting handle, or the bead breaker handle rather, loosen up the duck head so it can move, and then remove it from the rim. And the last step, again, this isn't a tire changing tutorial, so I won't take you through that step, but would be to go apply some air pressure, pop the beads, put your valve stem back in, and you have your tire. Set your pressure, you're ready to race. Let's go talk about how we feel about it. Thoughts on the Rabaconda tire changer kit. It's 100% worth the money. As I said earlier in the video, I spent a lot of time doing the standard tire irons. I have the Motion Pro ones, they're pretty big, but I've spent so much time, so many hours trying to break beads and change tires with those. For the first time, the instructions are pretty clear, as easy to read, pretty easy to follow. There's a few things that are a little difficult, but I didn't watch the tutorial video. I'm sure that'll help you out a lot. But the instructions are nice, they're well written, everything seems pretty quality, comes in a good carry bag. Would absolutely pack it up, take it to the racetrack with me, and I'm absolutely gonna use it at home. So 100% recommend. If you're looking at it, if you're thinking about it, go for it, make the decision, go ahead and buy it. It is worth the money. So the other sweet thing about this is the setup and dismantle time. The setup is super easy. You don't have to wrench anything together. Everything's either a hand screw, much like this, or it literally just clips together and you tighten down a little handle, and that's it. So the setup is super easy. It's lightweight, well manufactured. I think, as far as I know, you can do different types of tires on it. I know Rabaconda does specifically sell a dirt bike and off-road tire kit. This one is specifically the sport bike tire kit or tire changing kit. But I've been getting ads for this on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere for a long time. Their video was super short, looked like it was nice and easy. That was it. And I was like, man, that's sweet. I gotta go buy it. I gotta try it out. The reason why we're filming this video is to hopefully get you guys some insight on what it's actually like, because obviously the video on the website and in the ad is gonna be quick and make it look perfect. It definitely holds true to what they advertised. Like I said, 100% worth it, but as I stated before also, you still gotta have some elbow grease in there and you're still gonna be putting in some work. It's not automatic, it's not electric, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want tire changing tutorial, specifically with this. If you want one with the tire irons that I no longer wanna use anymore, we'll get those videos posted up for you. For now, we're gonna move forward and enjoy our Rabaconda tire changer. So the few negatives I think I would give this tire changing kit by Rabaconda, just tire changer machine. I think machine's a good word for it. Your rim sits on these little magnetic blocks. The magnet part is sweet because no matter what rim size you have, you can just move them up and down and they'll fit no matter what wheel, and there's no mechanism with that. There's no mechanical, it's just a magnet. It sits on there pretty well. The downside of that was when I was breaking the bead, and it could have been on me that I didn't have the tire or the wheel on there enough, but they kept kind of sliding out a little bit. So I was applying enough pressure trying to break the bead that the magnet would slip out and the rim would fall down and hit. That's something I'll try and, again, watch their tutorial and see if I can do that a little better, but that's a downside I would give it. And then breaking the bead. My setup could have been a little wrong. There could have been a couple other things, but it took some time. However, the time that it took, I would gladly do that because I'm standing up and just applying with a bar and wrestle a tire with and I have the Motion Pro Bead Breaker system tire irons, and it's so much more work using those than this, even with the amount of time that it took. And like I said, the setup could be a little off. I might have been too far down, too far up, not applying pressure in the right way. This was my first time using this. I wanted you guys to get the upfront experience. I have some tire changing experience, so if you're coming from nothing, definitely watch the tutorial so you know a little bit more about what you're doing. But if you're coming from changing tires with tire irons, it's pretty easy to transition to. It's a little weird to navigate the front and back of the duck head to figure out exactly where they want it. But if you pay attention to the way that the duck head, what is the full thing they call that? Bead breaker handle? No, that's just the duck head. This piece. Pay attention to which way it ratchets. So it's always gonna rotate this way. Pay attention to that, and then think about when you're mounting the tire or when you're dismounting the tire, which side of the duck head you want your tire over. That'll help you to kind of save a little bit of time. They do tell you which side, but it was a little difficult to decipher. I had to go back and forth and make sure I had it correct. All in all, I think once you get used to it, you'll save a lot of time. It's definitely a lot nicer being able to work standing up and not wrestling tires on the rim. 100% happy with my purchase and would recommend it, but there are some interesting things. Thanks for watching Working Class Customs review on the Rabaconda tire changer. Go ahead, like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you'd like to see next, and check out JK Moto Podcast for some more motorcycle insight.